What loophole did you exploit for years before someone found out? Story 1. Because I was a good student and rarely got into trouble, I was allowed to have my own phone extension in my room. So if I was out past curfew, I'd call home. When my mom answered, I would say, "It's for me, I've got it." And she would think I was up in my room. She never caught on. It was 1976. My mom never knew. I know that because I confessed to it years later. She was very shocked and mad, and she grounded me, but I was 40 and had my own house by then. My parents were the early to bed and early to rise type, and my room was a converted attic 2 floors up from the rest of the bedrooms. I often came home after everyone else was asleep because I had a part-time job, so I was used to sneaking in like a ninja. It was a bright yellow princess phone, and finally I knew a good thing, so I did not abuse this technique just a few times when it was absolutely necessary, like the time we hitchhiked to see Peter Frampton. Story 2. I went to a sporting goods store and they asked me for my phone number when I was paying. I was in a bad mood and didn't want to fight with the clerk, so I told them our local area code plus 555-1212, which is the old number for directory assistance. The clerk accepted it and I left. When I checked my receipt, I had a huge number of loyalty points because apparently a ton of other people did the same thing. I called the office the next day and switched the account to my new address. Half a dozen times over the next few years, I went and got free stuff with all the points that I kept racking up as one of their most loyal customers. Story 3. My first credit card ever was when I was 18 many moons ago. I opened a bank account and they sent me a CC. I used it for just shy of 2 years buying all kinds of stuff. My first apartment was baller. Never got a bill. I bought nice clothes, systems, subscriptions, food, you name it. I still never got a bill. I went to the bank one day to deposit some money and asked when my new card was coming. My old one was about to expire and they said, "What credit card? You weren't supposed to have this." They took it on the spot. I never got a bill. Tens of thousands of dollars easily, all for free. Story 4. Growing up, I worked at a chain grocery store. They had a policy in place that if an item price label didn't match the scanned price in the computer, the first item was free and any subsequent items would be for whichever price was lower. Every few months, an elderly woman would come in and spend 4 to 5 hours shopping. When she would come up to the register, she would have a full cart and almost everything would be free. I had to ring her out a handful of times and only caught a few items overall that she was wrong about. At one point, she found a comforter, BBB, mislabeled and got it for free, $40 to $50 sticker price. More than once, the store manager would watch her on the store cameras to ensure she wasn't switching the stickers, but never saw her do anything sneaky, just very calmly looking over every item shelved one at a time. Eventually, the policy changed and she stopped coming in at all. Story 5. There's an app for a local burger chain that allows you to roll the dice to get a code for a free double patty burger upgrade. It was designed so that you could try it only once per day, and even it shows the date of the roll on the code so the cashier could verify it. However, I found out that you can just change the date on your phone and try again immediately. And if you got nothing, change it again and just keep going until you actually get something and you get the code. Then when you get the code, you change the date back to the current date and the app updates the code so it looks like you rolled it today. I got free burger upgrades for years until they finally got rid of the feature altogether. I don't know if anyone else ever figured out this exploit. They removed it for other reasons. Story 6. I was really good friends with my building superintendent, Super, at a job I have since left. He was also the super for several other buildings downtown. My friend, the super, got terminal cancer diagnosis, and on his last day at the building, he gave me an envelope with what appeared to be a parking garage card inside. He said, "Biz, you have been such a great friend. I wanted to give you my key to the kingdom. It should save you a lot of money because it works in every city-owned parking garage downtown." I left that job in 2012, and to this day, the card still works at over 12 parking garages downtown. Want to see a concert or sporting event? Swipe the card for the O Arena, no longer the official name, garage. Need to park at the courthouse or city hall garage? Swipe the card. Want to go see a movie or go to a club or park? Swipe, 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 free parking day or night. Bruce, you left us way too soon, but you gave me a gift that just never stops giving. I miss you, buddy, and thanks for saving me a ton of money. Story 7. When I was a kid, there was a payphone down the street that if you put a quarter in and no one answered, it would give you back 2 quarters. I went there all the time and called home when I knew no one was there to answer. Story 8. Years ago, I was a season ticket holder for an awful NBA team, and my tickets came electronically via PDF. I had okay seats in the upper part of the lower bowl, but nothing great. Anyway, on nights when I knew it would be empty, which was most nights unless a superstar like Kobe or LeBron was in town, I used a full version of Adobe Acrobat to edit the PDFs to indicate a much better seat location than mine. The barcode still scanned just fine because I didn't mess with it, but when the usher took my printout, all he saw was that I was sitting on the floor. I got away with it for years until the team actually got good for a while and the place was packed. Story 9. I worked out how to get the jackpot every time on a Connect for Fruit machine in a pub I used to drink in. It would cost about £5 to £10 before you'd get into the bonus round, and then when you did, you'd play a Connect for game against the machine. You placed the first counter, and then after the machine placed the next counter, you mirrored the machine's move. Every game ended in a draw, and you won the jackpot, which was £50. The pub landlord removed the machine after around 3 months as it was regularly empty, basically paying for my drinking and more for 3 months. Story 10. When I was in school, they sent us home with a form for our parents to fill in. The idea was to collect updated contact information in case anything had changed, phone numbers, etc. If you were late to school, the school texted your parents to let them know. For myself, the usual punishment was grounding. I was frequently late, so I filled the form with my own phone number and started to receive the text messages that were intended to tell my parents that I was late. I got grounded far less frequently after that. Story 11. One week, the local Chick-fil-A put a coupon in a local coupon magazine flyer, which was buy one, get one free for any item on the menu. Next to that coupon, they had 50% off for any menu item. I carefully checked, and neither coupon mentioned cannot be combined with any other offer anywhere on it. So I ran out to the local grocery store and grabbed a stack of these flyers. Sure enough, the next week, the offer was gone, but it was too late to stop me. I spent almost 2 years as a grad student living almost exclusively off of 128 count nugget platters that I would get 25% of the cost, first half off, second free. The place went under new management and they put up a sign saying that they would no longer be accepting those coupons. I'm not entirely sure if that was due solely to me or if anyone else was pulling the same thing. I had about 20 coupon pairs left when they shut it down. Story 12. This is super weird and I haven't thought about it in years, but I suppose it was a loophole. Soda companies used to run giveaways where they would put a code under the cap and then you would enter the codes for points and get free stuff once you had banked enough points. I was a stock boy at a local grocery store and we had to take care of the bottle return machines too. Any loose caps and nasty soda juices would settle in the bottoms of the bag, so on slow nights, we would cut the corner of the bags to drain and collect any loose caps, which I would then wash in the mop sink and take home to bank the codes. I ended up getting some sweet stuff like a few CDs, a zip-up sweatshirt, and even some decent noise-canceling headphones, LOL. Story 13. I used to go to this Mongolian barbecue spot at the mall that had those thinly sliced frozen sheets of meat that they let you pick yourself and then they cook it for you so long as it fit in the bowl they gave you. Then you chose your veggies, etc., so they used to be kind of folded into like ribbons so they take up more room in said bowl. Well, it's stupid, but I realized if I just used the back of my hand and knuckles, I could kinda crunch punch the folded frozen meat down, and I would pack in like a pound of meat when that wasn't what they had intended at all, but since it was in the bowl, they had to cook it, so good. Anyways, me and my ex would go like 3 times a week and just get one of those, and it would feed us both pretty good for like $5. Eventually, they caught on after like a year, and one time we went, I proceeded to do the same good old backhanded meat punch at my bowl, when one of the workers yelled out to me to get my attention and pointed to my right at a printed paper that had a fist on it saying, "No to fist meat," with a circle and a cross going through it. That was my legacy there, and the food was never the same when it was 99.5% noodles. Me and my ex broke up. That was the only good thing in that old toxic relationship. Story 14. I grew up down the street from Universal Studios and went there every day after middle school. Eventually, we learned to go into the VIP line for rides, which nobody was ever in. When the guy stopped us and asked for our VIP tickets, we just told him a high-up employee named Rick should have called it in. After 2 seconds on the radio trying to verify, every employee just gave up and let us through. We skipped lines for years with that method, and eventually ride attendants came to know us and just let us through. It was beautiful. One day, we got bold, though, and snuck into the studio area. Guards caught us and asked us who we were with. We told them our fictional Rick told us we could be there. Well, the guards took radio verification way more seriously and managed to get a real Rick on the line. We waited for Rick to show up knowing we were busted. Rick showed up. Turns out he was actually the backlot manager at the time and gave us a strange look. The security guard asked us if we were with him, and this dude said yes. He took us aside and asked us what we were doing, and we told him we just love film and the studio atmosphere. He loved that two young kids were interested in his job and began taking us all around to the studios, allowing us to sit in on tapings of various shows and so on, giving us a free pass to come back anytime and also VIP line access. Story 15. I used to work at Starbucks like 7 years ago, and they used to print these receipts where if you filled out a survey, it would give you a 6-digit code which you could then exchange for a free drink. However, when you gave in the receipt with the code, we would just toss it in the garbage and then give the free drink. So over a shift, I would just keep all the survey receipts when people didn't want them, write random numbers on them, then keep a wallet full of free coffee. Since I already got tons of free drinks, I would give them to homeless people and explained it was good for a free coffee. Probably gave away like 100 free drinks. Story 16. The local casino issued a $20 free play coupon in the newspaper with no expiration date. I talked to the newspaper delivery guy and asked him about that copy, and he told me he's got hundreds of them in the van as if they were a few days old now. I got all of them, clipped out the coupons, and proceeded to make $19.50 every day after work for around 500 or so days. Not quite years, but pretty damn close. The casino never printed a coupon without expiration, one per customer rules ever since. Story 17. When I was at university, I used to live in an apartment across the road from a casino that released an app that gave you points for free food and drinks if you check in. As I was close enough to the casino, I could just check in without actually going there. Every Saturday, I got a free burger, fries, and drink and watched sports in the sports bar. They eventually scrapped the app, but it was awesome since I was a broke university student. Story 18. Back in the late 80s, you could make a long-distance collect call from a payphone and charge it to a private number. The operator would call the other number to confirm. We'd ask the operator to call the number of another payphone nearby and have a friend authorize a call. We enjoyed free long-distance for almost a year. Story 19. When my family used to go to a campground in the summer, we rented a little cabin for a week. In the main building, there was a small arcade with mostly older games, a foosball table, and an air hockey table. What most people didn't know was that the air hockey table was broken. If you put quarters in, you could push the plunger to start the machine and get your quarters back if you did it just right. For a couple of years in a row, it was super fun because another kid and I would keep the air hockey table going for the entire time. The arcade would be filled with kids who would often play other games while waiting for their turn at air hockey. However, they must have found out after a few years because we went back one year and it was fixed. The arcade was also a complete ghost town and the campground made no money off of it after that. That's when I fully realized and understood the concept of a loss leader at like 13 years old. Story 20. When Lyft first came out, they were giving away free rides up to like $20 to $30 if I remember correctly. All you had to do was refer a friend. So my college roommate and I just made a few email addresses and somehow my free rides glitched and I just kinda had free rides for the year. I remember what caused the glitch. I had lost my debit card that was linked to the account, so I had to cancel it and get a new one. For some reason, Lyft kept processing payments to my old card, but it never came out of my bank account. Story 21. Obligatory not years, but I can't believe I got away with it. My mom gave me £20 to buy a thing of a certain brand of cat food, which normally only costs $10.99. Now here's the thing. When I entered the store, I was given a coupon for £5 off that particular brand of cat food. The store was also offering £5 off the type of cat food I entered for. I got to the till and the food was priced at $5.99. I handed over my coupon and it was scanned so that the food now was just $99. I couldn't believe my luck because normally it says not for use in conjunction with any other offer. But here's the real kicker. The lady behind the till gave me another coupon, so you can bet your goddamn life I went around again and left the store with 22.98 pounds worth of cat food, or about 2 pounds, with a third coupon in my hand. The only reason I didn't keep exploiting the loophole was that I had to carry it all home on my BMX. Story 22. At my current apartment complex, they just changed the laundry machine, so you need to use this super slow app. I found out though, if you press start on the app and start on the machine and then back out of the app while it's still chatting with the machine will start but won't charge any money. Been washing and drying for free for a few months now. The app name is similar to Small GS or Small Payments. Story 23. When I worked at Kmart, the clocking system rounded to the closest quarter hour. By clocking in 8 minutes early and clocking out 8 minutes after my shift, I was paid for 30 minutes instead of 16 minutes, resulting in 2.5 hours of overtime pay per week. I took advantage of this loophole and received about 6.5 weeks of extra pay during my time there. I was never caught. Story 24. While living near and attending a local university, I worked full time during a recession and struggled to make ends meet. I learned about the massive employee luncheon cafeterias from friends who worked in the tourist industry and casinos. Without needing any ID cards or lanyards, I was able to access the cafeterias by dressing appropriately to the employer's dress code. After doing a dry run with a friend, I went alone for almost 3 years, timing my visits during peak service times and avoiding dead zones. I even befriended some of the cafeteria workers and custodial crews. Story 25. During college, I didn't exactly exploit loopholes but played the system. A pizza chain had coupons printed on their larger boxes that offered a free cheese carry-out pizza with 10 coupons. I rummaged through every pizza box in the dorm trash cans or offered to throw away someone's box in exchange for the coupons. I rarely paid for pizza and received plenty of free cheese carryouts. The campus paper printed out a coupon for 2 free game tokens at the bowling alley, arcade, and the student union, with a limit of 1 coupon per day. I got a stack of coupons for free from the campus paper and went through the student union twice a week with a friend. With the 2 of us redeeming coupons, we received 4 game tokens per day, 8 per week, and as a reward, I made her a pair of earrings out of 2 game tokens. Story 26. On the original Kindle, it was possible to purchase a book with an expired card, and Amazon would send the book. A minute later, a notification would say the payment didn't go through and you had to acknowledge it. If you hit the home button, you could continue reading the book, unaware that the payment didn't go through. I did this once a month during my junior year of high school. However, the following summer, I could no longer exploit this loophole, and coincidentally, my passion for reading died around that time. Story 27. It wasn't intentional, but once I found out about it, I just couldn't stop. Years ago, I used my card to pay for Xbox Live before I could pick up a manual 1-year subscription. When I tried to remove my card details, it wouldn't let me and said I had to call MS directly. Being lazy but smart, I decided to change the security numbers that were saved so it wouldn't process any future payments. It never did, but somehow I still kept getting Xbox Live access. This went on for about 1.5 years before it stopped. I was never contacted about paying anything for what I'd used. Story 28. I used to work at a grocery store, and we had this era of steak discounts where hundreds of coupons for $5 off a steak were just everywhere for some reason. I found out that if I used the self-checkout and bought a steak that was less than $5 while using the coupon, the machine would give me back the difference in change. I ate dozens of free steaks and filled my change jar up pretty nicely. Story 29. I'm a part-time retail worker for a big chain. The work gives employees a 5% discount on all purchases, increasing to 10% on store products. Gift cards are considered store products, as are vegetables and a lot of groceries. By paying $45 for a $50 gift card and then using said card for my shopping, I can purchase $55.55 in groceries, which amounts to an effective 19% discount on almost all my essential shopping and 14.5% on everything else. On occasion, I've bought a card online on my phone while queuing at the checkout. It has been 4 years, and I'm still wondering when they'll realize they're giving me a discount on money.